What's up, guys? It's Brian from Hashware Hub. It's about 10:46 p.m. Eastern Time, March 20th, 2018, and we got a brand new trading video coming right to you. But first, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, upvote, re-steam. If you guys are steaming a DTube, we're getting a little traction there, I guess, based on my morning video. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate that quite a bit. So let's get right into it here. We've run up here. I drew this channel because really, I mean, I actually cleaned up the chart quite a bit, believe it or not. But I drew this channel because this channel's all over the place, and this is an obvious one that's right here. And I started dissecting. I take a train actually from Manhattan home into Long Island, and what do? I do, I study charts and things of that sort. And as I'm doing that, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that there's a different way to go about this. And so I'm gonna talk about that a bit here. And but first, I know we were talking about some trade setups, and we were talking about some trade setups. And I want to say this before the market tends to fall off here. But basically, we were talking about doing trade setup possibly would be super aggressive. It would be about this 8,660 level. I forgot exactly the exact price I mentioned on the previous video, but I do remember it was towards the tops over here. And we would say, okay, for a very aggressive trade, you would go ahead and do that. And enter somewhere around that level right there. So what I would do is, if I was in that trade, I would look to get out now. Okay, I would totally look to get out now and take my winnings and move on. That's not the way I trade in that very aggressive manner. I trade in a more conservative manner, where I'm looking for this thing to pull back and then go ahead and enter and then ride it up further from there. So I just wanted to mention that right off the bat in the event that anybody did take that trade. Again, these trade setups I'm talking about, this is the way I would try to trade these things. Okay, you guys have to go about it your own way, with your own market research and whatever makes sense to you from a risk reward perspective. Okay. So like that trade in particular, for me, that'd be a little risky. Some other people, it would not be all that risky. So we did talk about trades from the downside, but none of that would have gotten triggered based on the way in which we were talking about possibly entering it. So, the only one that would have got triggered is the one that I just mentioned prior. So the thought process I have is that, I'm not really sure what all this is. I know, right? You're supposed to be an expert. You're supposed to know a crystal ball, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, sometimes not. And as a trader, you need to be able to identify that to yourself. When is a time that you're just not feeling the market? You're just not in vibe with the market, because those are the times when you just start making a lot of stupid mistakes. You get frustrated. Then the next trade, you try to do something, stupid, where you try to basically emotions get involved, and you don't want emotions to get involved. And right now, I really don't know too much of what's going on. I'm not feeling the market. I'm not feeling that I'm in sync with the market. I don't feel like being able to read it all that much. And so when that happens, what do I normally do? First of all, I don't panic, but I start getting really frustrated, and I start really diving into the charts on a very, very short time span. That's going to show me more stuff. I look at things on 5 minute, 1 minute, 3 minute, and I continue going back and forth until I start seeing something. And we originally were calling this right here 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, right? And then we had rewrote it to this being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm not really sure either way. Okay, and I'm sure my hesitancy is pissing some people off, but I just got to tell you, right? I mean, I just got to tell you what I'm feeling. And sometimes I say, hey, I got a gut instinct. It's going to go in this direction. And a lot of times it does go in that direction. And it's the same thing here with that gut instinct. My gut instinct is that I don't have a great handle right now of exactly what's going on. So when that happens, I have to be super conservative, right? And I also have to tell you too, right? So I'm thinking that, let's say, for example, this is not the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. Okay, let's say that it's more something that looks. Oh, sorry about that. It's something that looks more like this. Okay. And I'm not going to go into the Fibonacci retracements and all that other stuff. Excuse me, Fibonacci extensions. But you can go ahead and do that yourself, right? But it's good practice. So if that's the case, then what do we have next? Well, what we have next is basically we're looking for. So if this is a one wave, right? In other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it makes wave 1. Then we're basically looking for wave 2. So if it's wave 2, then basically what are we looking for? We're looking for an A, a B, and a C. And this very well right here could be the could be an ABC. Okay. Come on, ABC. A, B, and a C. It looks very ABC-ish. All right. So you'd basically have 5 waves down, 3 waves up, and 5 waves back down. And you can count that, if you go the 5 minute, 3 minute, 1 minute. So then what would we be looking for next? Next we'd be looking for another 5 waves up. And you can count 5 waves in here. You have to go down a little bit more detail. Okay, but you can count 5 waves in here. So you'd have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you can continue to go, over and over on this. And then what do we have? Okay, so we have a 1, we have a 2, and now we're looking for a 3 coming up, right? A large 3. So, where are we with that? So this very well right here could be wave 1. Okay, it could be wave 1. This, I believe, this whole thing here could be a wave 2. Okay, this whole thing here could be a wave 2. The reason why I say that is because it's very channel-like. You see, it's very, very channel-like. From this high to this low right here, it just feels like it's a corrective wave, and then this here feels like this is a motive wave. Okay, this feels like this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up. Right, so this would be. I'm just gonna draw it, just not exact, just for time's sake. But let's say this is a 1, 2. 3, 4, and a 5, right? Then we have an A, B, C. We have an A, B, and a C coming down, right? And then we have another. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So what would we have here? If this is a large 1, right? And then we have a 2, and then we're looking for a 3. So this is 1 of 3. This is 2 of 3. And then we'd be looking for an ABC correction. And then we would be looking for a 3 of 3. Okay? So we're in this channel right here, right? But yes, we're in a channel, but what other things are also providing resistance? Okay? And I'm going to go back way, way back here to a time we drew this line right here from the bottom. For some reason, I just left it here. I don't know why, but it's just left here. Okay? And this basically comes right across. Would you look at this? Okay? Its price is about 9,000. 9,003. It comes again from the bottom right here. Okay, and it's something that's been used many times before over here and all through here. Okay, and all through here. So, and now we're sitting right at it. Okay, and you could see here, this is a 1 hour chart. You could see here how many times we hit up against this. Right, so many times did we hit up against this. So, even my eyes are starting to cross. I'm super tired. Sorry, guys. So, where could we possibly go from here, right? Where could we possibly go from here? So let's assume that this right here really is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, just grant me that for a minute. So let's look at the Fibonacci extension. This comes down to about here. Okay, this would, if we are choosing to aim a one-to-one extension, in other words, that this larger third motive wave up is going to be the same size as the first wave. Remember, the third wave can't be the smallest. Doesn't have to be the biggest, but it just can't be the smallest. If we choose to say that the market's going to try to at least get the third wave up to the same size of the first wave, then that would give us a target of about 9,246. All right. So let's see what 9,246 gives us. All right. It gives us something right around, the middle right here. All right. And then next, let's say that the fifth wave, where is the fifth wave going to end up? Well, the fifth wave is going to usually somewhere there's 1.618, right? That's about 9,956. All right. Now this is right around where we were talking about the daily resistance of 9,665. Okay. It's about 300 points off, granted, but still, it's within the same ballpark. And at the same time, it's right at this swing high right here. This swing high right here is basically this 9,900 level. All right. Yeah, right about this 9,900 level. So, what's going to go on here? So we're not exactly sure, but this is the way I start mapping things out. So let's say, for example, this really is not the right thing. Okay, let's say, for example, let's zoom in again, and this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I just did for you, this right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say that's not it. Let's say it was what I was talking about before, where it's a 1, 2, right? We have, I think it was 3. Right? 3, yeah, 3 up here. Sorry, 4 and a 5. Where 5 was up here. Well, if that's the case, then our targets are only higher. Okay, because that first motive wave is even larger. So I'll let you do the extension on that. But I'm looking at things from a conservative basis. Okay? So this is kind of, I don't know. This is kind of the way I start slicing and dicing things up. Maybe we'll see more information in the morning, and it'll give us a better idea of exactly what we're looking at. But that would be a lot of information basically overnight, especially since it's about 11 o'clock right now. So yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at let's update these support levels. The 4-hour support level, we're going to be moving it to 8,483. Okay, 8,483. 8,483 on a 4-hour resistance level. On a 1-hour resistance level, we're going to be changing this to 8,749. 8,749. Okay, so now what are we looking at for a retracement is concerned? So let's just look at this on a really minute level. Okay, let's just look at this a little bit more minute than we normally do, right? So let's say this right here is the end of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. A 382 retracement would be about 8,769. This is about right above. This is 20 points above the 1-hour support that we mentioned, right? And then we would then go ahead and obviously it would move up from there. That's what we were assuming is going to happen. But the more that this thing retraces back down, okay, the more we kind of have wave failure and et cetera, and this may be something different than what we're originally talking about. Another thing that I mentioned some time ago, not even some time ago, it wasn't even that long ago, is that this whole thing, right, this whole thing coming down could just be one large, huge WXYXZ. And it's looking more and more that is the case because it's super complex type of market action. And usually that plays itself out in a WXYXZ. All right. So what I would like to see is in the event that this is, accounted, in other words, if we're counting this correctly the way it is right now, then basically we have the third wave of the third wave to come up, right? We have a correction coming here, right? A small little correction coming here, and then we would have the third wave of the third wave coming up, and then we would have a larger correction, which would be the fourth wave, right, of the larger wave count, that would come down. And obviously then we'll go ahead and we'll update you then. But I really want to see what happens here, okay? What I don't want to see is I don't really want to see that this correction comes really much further lower down than this 8,749, right? Because it would also be the top right here, approximately around here. This is the top of about 8,721. All right, that's the top of 1. Okay, so remember we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, right? And you don't want 4 to really come down much further down below 1, right? Than the top of 1. It just doesn't make sense. Now, again, I'm talking about the subwaves. I'm talking about the subwaves within the third wave here. Okay, just doing a little subwave analysis. So this 8,749 is in a good spot to go ahead and possibly look to see for the market to then to retrace to, and then for it to run up to. So another thing too is if I was more confident in this, I would look to go ahead and trade this. As many other things I've mentioned before in the past, but I'm really not all that very confident in it. And really, guys, I have to be like, for me to tell you guys something, I have to be like really confident in it. So like, for myself, I could probably trade this. I could probably trade this, and be pretty happy with it. But I'm pretty conservative. But if, let's say, for example, the way I would trade it is that, yeah, I would look at this 8,749 as basically kind of the way in which I would get in somewhere around here, right? And then I would have a pretty close stop loss. Okay, pretty close stop loss. I mean, my stop loss would would really be no further away than the bodies of these candles, which is about 8,600, right? That would be plenty far away. I probably would half the distance, okay? And just look to see, can I nail the bottom of this thing and then have it then come back up? Because the way this looks to me is that there's a lot of bullish sentiment. Another way to go about trading this is wait to see for it to come down, right? And then wait for the volume to return. Wait for the volume to return and then get it on the rise back up. Okay? Get it for it to come back down and then for it to turn, kind of make that J curve and then come back up. Okay? Because for that fifth wave, you really do want it to come higher, right? And then what you could then go ahead and do is then go ahead and add on to your position once it eclipses, these levels right here of about 9,000 or 9,050 is probably even a safer one, because that's truly the top here, about 9,050. And there's a lot of resistance here. There's a ton of resistance here. So we want to make sure that it doesn't get a curtailed fifth leg, and then move down. So yeah, I'm talking out loud a little bit more than I probably should be, or probably maybe you guys want. But this is kind of the way in which I think through a lot of these things, and in particular right now, yes, I am a little bit more conservative, because of the fact that I'm not super sure of exactly what's going on here. So one other thing we can go ahead and take a look at, is it about right here? Yeah. Is that we are sitting right now at the 0.382 retracement level, which is about 8,942. Okay, we're sitting pretty much right on top of that, right here. And why do I mention that? I mention that because what happens if this is really just a WXYXZ, and this is the last X up, and then we're going to get that failure, and we're going to make a Z, and we make a Z, that Z is going to come down as an ABC. Okay? I'm sorry, that Z is going to come down as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man, I need to go to sleep. So if that's the case, then we could have, we could be starting to retest these lows again. I don't believe it would be a huge sell-off because of the fact that I think we are pretty much exhausted to the downside. We would really need to have some other news come in order to go ahead and start saying that something stupid's happening with Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or blockchain technology overall, for this really to go ahead and regain some more momentum to the downside. So, however, I still want to show that side of this. So, even though we've run up, we've really only run up to the 0.382 retracement of this large downturn that we had here. Okay, so I just would like to put things into perspective. So that's about it for right now. We're really gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it there for right now. Not much else to say. Sorry, I'm not too sure of the count or too sure of exactly how to look at like this. I do think it's one of those two scenarios. This is the more conservative scenario. This may even break up. If this breaks up through here, through this level of, let's say, really 9,050, then we have a lot of bullish sentiment. We have a ton of bullish sentiment. A lot of these smaller waves that are through here, there's not much of a retracement, especially this last wave right here. This is truly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This kind of subwave right here. There was really not any bullish sentiment, so that can, not any bearish sentiment. So that can lead you one or two things. A, the Bulls got carried away, and the Bears are then going to take over, or B, the Bears have gone away, and it's the Bulls' turn, and where we're going to see very small pullbacks and possibly much stronger moves to the upside. All right, so I'm going to leave it there, guys. Have a great night, and I will be speaking to you in the morning.